Okay, here is 9.2, Unit 4 video notes, multiplying polynomials. So we learned how to add and subtract them. Now we're going to learn how to multiply. So we can multiply a polynomial, so many terms, by a monomial, one. So one term, many terms. Monomial by a trinomial. What we do is do it term by term, just like we're distributing. So I take this 2x and I multiply it by the 3y, by the 4w, and by the negative 5z. So 2x times 3y, I multiply the numbers together, I get 6, x times y, so it's xy. Alright, 2x times 4w, so the 2 times 4 is a positive 8, x times w is just xw. 2x times negative 5z, 2 times negative 5 is a negative 10. So that minus belongs with the 5. X times z is just xz. That would be my answer. If we had to simplify anything, we could add like terms, but none of these are like terms. They have to have the same variables. Okay, let's try another one. So I would look at this, a monomial by a polynomial or a trinomial. I'm going to do it term by term. So negative 3 times 4 is a negative 12. Now I'm going to say a times a gives me a squared. B times b gives me b squared. Remember, we add those exponents. Okay? Negative 3ab times 6a. Let's do the numbers first. Negative 3 times 6 is a negative 18. A times a gives me an a squared. B times, there's no b there, so I just have to, it's like a 1. So I'm going to put a b here. Okay? Negative 3 times a negative 3 gives me a positive 9. A, there's no a here, so I have to have an a here in the answer. And b times b is b squared. Do I have any like terms? I have a squared, b squareds. I got a squared as a single b, and I have a and a b squared. So, final answer. Okay, you guys try these down here. See what you come up with. Number 7, we can multiply a binomial by a binomial. We're going to show you two different ways. First, we're going to do the table method. So the table method is, we're going to draw a little table like this. Okay, and I'm going to put x plus 3. I can put x plus 3 up there, and I could put x and a positive 6 there. If it was negative, I just put the negative with it, but that's positive. Okay, now I just, in this box goes whatever's here. X times x. X times x is x squared. This box here, I follow along. X times 3. I'm going to rewrite it as 3x, not x3. Okay, so we just multiply whatever. So this box is this times this, where they intersect. So x times 6, or 6x. This is a positive 6. I wrote. And then 6 times 3 is 18. So what we do is here, I have x squared, but these middle terms right here, they can always be combined. If I have 6x and 3x, I can add that together to give me 9x. So I'm going to rewrite this. This up here is equal to x squared. I'm going to write my x's now. I have 6 of them and then 3 more of them. So I have 9x's plus 18. Okay? So what we do is we rewrite each binomial on top of a column, and then we rewrite each binomial here across from a row. And then we just multiply in that. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times 3 is 18. Once you do that, these middle terms are going to be like terms. We can put those together. There's a big plus in here like this. So I can add the 6x plus 3x. That's how I got the 9x. Okay? You guys try this one over here. Make sure you draw your table. Put your things up here. If it's a -1, it goes as a -1. I'll get that part set up. You guys set up the rest. You guys try that. Okay, that was multiplying by using a table. Now we can multiply. We're going to show you on the other side how to do FOIL. Maybe you guys learned this. So FOIL, the F stands for first, O stands for outside, I stands for inside, and the L stands for last. What that means is, if I'm going to do this problem up here, and I'm going to label these things. So this is the first. What's the first term? That's the first term. I'm going to multiply that first term together. Outside terms. Well, this is the first term, but it's also the outside term. So this can also be considered outside. And this one is outside. So I'm going to multiply those. The first term and then the outside terms. Now I'm going to go to the inside terms right here. So this is considered an inside, and that's an inside. I'm going to multiply those two together. Then I'm going to do the last terms in each binomial. So if I look at that binomial, this term here is also the last term. This term's the last term. So I'm going to multiply those two. So if I was to do that down here, I'm going to rewrite this. Remember, we got an answer up here, but I can show you FOIL. First, x squared, x times x. Outside terms, x times 6, which is 6x. Inside terms, 3 times x is 3x. The last term in each binomial, 3 times 6 is 18. Now I'm going to look. I have some like terms always in the middle, x's. I rewrite my x squares. How many x's do I have? 6x plus 3x is going to give me 9x, and plus 18 just comes down. I get the same answer I did up there. You can use either method. Okay? So let's do a couple here FOILs. So over here, I'm going to do the same thing. The first term, x times x is x squared. The outside terms, x times 7 is 7x. Inside term, 5x, 5 times x. These are the inside. And then the outside, the last terms of each binomial. So this is the last term, and this is the last term. 5 times 7 is 35. Always have to combine like terms when we do FOIL typically. So I get x squared. I only have x squareds right there. I got x's here, 7x and 5x. That's going to give me 12x. And I bring down the plus 35. Final answer. So we used FOIL. First, outside, inside, last. So let's try this one. First, a times a is a squared. Outside terms here, the a and the -5. That -5 belongs with the minus belongs with the 5. So I get -5a. Inside, -3 times +6a is -18a. Last, -3 times a -5 is a +15. Negative times a negative is a positive. I got my like terms in the middle. I'm going to rewrite my a squared as -5a minus 18a. So when you calculate, just say -5 times -5 minus 18. You're going to get a minus 23a. Got to have the a in there. And plus 15. Notice when we do FOIL, we're still in descending order like we did in the first section. I got my a squareds here, my single a's, and then no a's, just my constant. Okay, so you guys try this. Try it with FOIL now. See which one. Practice both ways though. Try all these 3 problems with FOIL. Okay, hopefully you guys tried those, come up with some questions. Now we're going to multiply a binomial, 2 terms, by a trinomial, 3 terms. Okay, we're going to kind of do something like FOIL. There's no word, but we're just going to do a term by term. So I'm going to say term by term. So I'm going to take this w, multiply it by the w squared. I get w squared. W, equals w cubed. W times a w squared is w cubed. Okay? I'm going to take this w and multiply it by the 3w. So I get plus 3w squared. W times 3w. You could write that out if you need to. Times 3w equals 3w squared. Okay? I'm going to multiply the w by the negative 8. I get negative 8w. Alright? Now I did the w with each term in the first term of the binomial with each term of the trinomial, and I have to take the second term and multiply it by each term by term. So I get negative 6 times w squared, negative 6w squared. Negative 6 times 3w is a negative 18w. Negative 6 times negative 8 is a positive 48. Okay? So here we're doing this horizontally. We have to collect those like terms. So w cubes, do I have any? I got just this one spot, my w cubes. W squareds, I'm going to put a box around the w squareds. There's 3w squareds, negative 6w squareds, and that's it. So 3w squared minus 6w squared gives me a negative 3w squared. So 3 minus 6, negative 3. The w squared comes along for the ride. Let's see, my w's are next. I'm going to circle these. Circle. I got negative 8w, negative 18w. So negative 8 minus 18 gives me a negative 26w. And constants, I only have 48 there, so positive 48. Do it just like that. Okay? Remind me, we'll show you how to do this vertically in class tomorrow. And down here, you guys can try this one if you want, but we're going to use vocabulary to describe your steps. So we're going to do this in class tomorrow. Okay? We want to write some sentences on, I'm going to multiply the first term by the first term, the outside terms together, the inside term together, and the last term. And then I'm going to combine like terms. So you have to write that out. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.